New this morning, heartbreak this Christmas after a teenage girl was shot and killed at a hotel. And now police are hoping two other young people can tell them what happened.
Family says they're baffled as to why 16-year-old Kalecia Williams, or Pinky as they called her, never made it out of the Hyatt Regency alive. They say she was supposed to be at a chaperoned event at an Airbnb, and they believe the shooter isn't the only person responsible for her life being cut short.
The TikTok platform, used by over 67% of teens in the United States, is usually good fun, full of dancing reels, recipes, makeup, and hilarious pet videos. What happens, however, when a young teen's last moments of life are streamed via TikTok for the whole world to see? Just 21 minutes before her life was snuffed out forever, 16-year-old Kalecia Williams uploaded a live video. What part did TikTok play in the death of this budding teen influencer? Was it the live streaming of a TikTok video that led the murderer to panic and take Kalecia's life, fearing his identity would be exposed? Did the disturbed teen's body language in the video give us any clues about her assailant? Is social media a blessing for exposing crimes more readily, or is it the perfect disguise? And finally, how accountable should parents be for teen gatherings? Stay tuned as we reveal the answers to these burning questions and more in this week's bite-sized true crime recap. TikTok gone wrong, the Kalecia Williams tragedy. December 2020 marked the early days of COVID. Schools closed, workplaces emptied, and people grew frustrated with their lack of occupation. Children and teenagers were bored out of their minds as strict restrictions on going out and mask mandates were imposed. During this period of time, Kalecia Williams, born on January 1, 2004, and affectionately known as Pinky, was invited to a party. She lived with her family in Atlanta, Georgia, which had some of the highest number of cases and most strict quarantine rules for the United States. Like other kids her age, she was very active on TikTok, but wisely kept some details about her life private, such as which school she attended and where she lived. Kalecia lived with her mother, April Smith, and her stepfather, Romney Savoy. To kill time in quarantine, she would vlog her daily life and upload videos of her dancing to various TikTok sound bites. Her following grew, and before long, she was considered an up-and-coming TikTok influencer. When she received an invitation to a small party, her father, likely tired of her being home all the time, encouraged her to attend. Unfortunately, there were signs that something was amiss with the party from the get-go. Even though investigators haven't publicly commented on the party and its attendees, many true crime experts point to several alarming things. The party was hosted by one of Kalecia's friends, Infinity, who was known to the family. The friend told Kalecia's parents that a couple of people from their school would be attending. Infinity also reassured Kalecia's dad that Infinity's mother would be supervising the party and that adults would be there to manage things and keep the young ones in control. Infinity's mother also called Kalecia's mom to tell her that it was a girls-only party and that she would be present, neither of which was going to be true. Not only did Infinity's mother not supervise the party, several boys were also in attendance, and even the location was changed from the original Airbnb to the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Nevertheless, Kalecia headed off to the party right after Christmas, excited and eager to enjoy a good time with her friends. All of the repetitive reassurances from Infinity and her mother meant that Kalecia's parents were sure that their daughter was in safe hands. But they had no idea of the tragedy that was about to befall them. Nobody knows exactly what happened on the fateful early morning of December 26, 2020. When the party wound down around midnight, Kalecia went to her room. As per her usual routine, she started to film live video for her TikTok channel, updating her followers about the goings-on in her life. The last video of Kalecia, which was later taken down by TikTok, reveals quite a bit about what might have happened. Close to the end of the video, Kalecia appears to be interrupted and can be seen looking up at someone who has suddenly entered her hotel room. Her reaction is one of fear and surprise. She stops dancing, sets her phone down, and the video stops. Her followers saw a boy entering the room seconds before the live cut off. Not long after, a shot rang out and people staying in the hotel found Kalecia lying in a pool of blood from the gunshot wound in her groin. The muddled aftermath. Panic ensued as hysterical residents called the police. The crime scene had been compromised due to men carrying the injured and barely alive girl to the hotel lobby. Kalecia struggled for life as police and medical staff attempted to resuscitate her. However, the bright and talented 16-year-old succumbed to her gunshot wounds on the way to the hospital. As tragic as this situation already was, it was made even more so by how Kalecia's parents learned about their daughter's death. Instead of Infinity's mother ringing to tell them, they found out about their precious daughter when the hospital morgue called them to ID her body 8 hours after she had been brought in. Following a horrendous visit to the morgue, they went to the crime scene to try and make sense of what had occurred before calling Infinity's mother. Their shock was compounded when they realized that all the assurances they had been given, a different location, parental supervision, and no boys, had been false. The parents gave permission for an autopsy, which soon revealed that Kalecia had been sexually assaulted before being shot to death. As the police investigated, Kalecia's final video gave them their lead suspect. The male seen entering the room where Kalecia was filming was identified as her boyfriend and perpetrator of this shocking crime. In an attempt to preserve his identity as he was a juvenile, the police released the following statement at the time. Inside a room at the Hyatt Regency with a juvenile male companion, a verbal dispute occurred between both parties, which resulted in the young male fatally shooting his victim. The press soon revealed the boy's name to be Carrie Brown, one of the boys attending the party, with the suspected reason for the shooting a lover's quarrel. When brought in for questioning, Brown confessed to shooting Kalecia. However, shockingly, he was only sentenced to 1 year in prison. The usual punishment for a murder in Georgia is either life without parole or imprisonment for life, but this can be significantly reduced when the murderer is a minor. The light sentence Brown received suggests that he entered a plea deal where he stated that he didn't mean to kill her. The charges included aggravated assault, possessing a gun by a minor, and a felony murder. Outrage ensued online and in Kalecia's community when Brown was released from the Metro Youth Detention Center just a year after his sentencing. Debates have sparked online about whether minors beyond a certain age threshold should suffer real consequences for their actions. No matter the assailant's intentions, he was still carrying a gun and took the life of a beautiful, loved young girl with a bright future ahead of her. Kalecia Pinky Williams was laid to rest after her funeral at the life-changing Work of Faith Church just a day after her murder. Her parents maintain a low profile because no amount of prosecutions and publicity will bring their daughter back. However, the strange circumstances of her death, the negligence of Infinity's parents, and the short sentence her murderer served still raise eyebrows among those interested in her story. This case is a cautionary tale to all those with teenagers in their care. Kalecia cannot be brought back to life, but her family and supporters have launched online petitions to make sure that Carrie Brown's sentence gets extended and he spends the rest of his life behind bars. Regardless of what happens, however, Kalecia's parents will never forget the criminal negligence of Infinity and her parents, nor the actions of the monster that tragically took their daughter from them.